Okay, folks, another reuse from this expensive item. Or see if we can make this one turn up a treat. Okay, let's see what we have here. It is a CEO magazine. We're interested in not in this ugly fucktard asshole. We're interested in this shit here. This is also shit, but it's interesting. We're going to utilise that as our piece we're going to demo with. These watches, these rich people's fucking shit. I'm over the rich. They like to stick it up. They just like to do everything wrong. And Tim Cook is an asshole. He can't make a decent product. He overcharges people who obviously love Apple because he knows that they're going to buy it. So he puts on this thing known colloquially as an Apple tax to charge more for the fanboy, for being a fanboy and a fangirl. Because Apple's got such a huge following and people are so crazy and gullible when it comes to Apple. And Apple is just shit. I call it crapple. It is, it's shit. It's not the same anymore. Since he removed the headphone jack from the iPhone 7, I think it was, unfortunately Samsung followed suit later on. And they don't even have a micro SD card slot, just like Apple. Although the Samsung A series phones, the mid-range phones, not the high-end ones, still feature that. So yeah, I really hate the way the industry has gone, the way the tech industry has become so fucking stupid, with stupid people and stupid products. Everything fucking dumb stupid. And it is, it's really stupid, and I have no respect for the status quo. I don't respect the people who run the industries. The photocopier industry is a classic piece of shit industry, and I am a person who used to be a Xerox fan, but I no longer follow the companies. I don't fucking appreciate them, except I need their equipment. But, what else can I use if I can't? I haven't built my ultimate machine yet, so it's not going to happen for a long time either, folks. And that's come up looking interesting. Not quite what I'm after, these pieces. That looks really quite interesting. I wonder if I can just maybe take a section out of that. But yeah, folks, I have a dream, folks, of doing something really, really, really big. It's not going to go down well with the status quo of the current status quo of the photocopier industry. It's not going to go down too well because I'm going to be basically creating a product that I believe is going to be superior to the shit that we currently have today in our current situation in the photocopier industry. The photocopier industry is full of assholes and fucking charlatans, and they don't care about the product or the environment or people, so they build their shit and they don't care. So I want to redesign the photocopier from scratch, and one of the first things I want to think about is the hardware, making it last 60 years, 60, not 5 years, not 10 years, or 5 years is more common now. I want to make it last at least 60 years. I want to make it last for a real long time, and that's basically, what I want to do with it. And I want the hardware to be built out of recycled, as much as possible, recycled materials, instead of virgin materials. Instead of mining it from the ground, we mine it from where the rubbish tips and the e-waste dumps of the world in places like India and China. And of course, this, apart from the raw materials like that, this photocopier incidentally is going to be made in Australia with people from both Australia and overseas who've got talent and passion and conviction that want to build this product and who are committed. But the thing is, they're going to be paid a lot of money. They're not going to be paid a slave wage like an Apple iSlave, because Apple has a place, folks, called a company called Foxconn that helps build their shit. I don't know if they're still doing it, but they had a place in Shenzhen, China, and these people were being so badly mistreated that they were committing suicide by jumping off the building. So Apple got Foxconn, I don't know who did it, but Apple or Foxconn installed suicide nets. So they basically tried to solve the problem without cutting to the source of the problem, which was poor slave labour in a sense. So, I'm really angry at this shit. I'm really pissed off the way workers are being treated so badly. And that's not what we're going to have in this factory. This factory is going to be a place where people are going to actually enjoy themselves, folks. Enjoy. Not be treated like slaves and dreaded every day and just living to survive, working to survive. We're not going to be like Tim Cook and his slaves and his slave labour. We're going to fucking rise above it. So yeah, and the thing is, this hardware is going to be made mostly out of metals and ceramics and glass, if I can just think off the top of my head, instead of this excessive use of plastic that we've become so familiar with. And I'm so over plastic. I want to have the chassis built out of titanium instead of just steel. It's got to last 60 years, remember? And also, we've got to make the panels even with. We don't use plastic unless we need to use plastic. If plastic is the only material that'll go somewhere, like sockets and wiring and plugs and shit. And even the panels are going to come in an array of bright colours, like what Steve Jobs did for the iPod Mini. All these different colours and anodised aluminium, but we're also going to have titanium, stainless steel, and even this novel material known as Alon, which is often referred to as what do they call it? Transparent aluminium. And it's called Alon. Alon means aluminium, oxygen and nitrogen, if I'm correct, and that's the material, and it's clear. And I want to make some panels that are made out of this clear ceramic. It's a ceramic, not an aluminium. It's ceramic, not a metal. And I want to make it for the panels, to make clear panels. Imagine that. So all these different metals and finishes. And another thing to note also, folks, is that the software is the most important thing to change. The hardware's got to stay in situ for now I've forgotten. Oh, fuck. I didn't want to do mirror image straight away. Sorry, folks. But basically, not concentrating, folks. But basically, the software's got to change, and we've got to change it dramatically, and it's got to have it's got to be adaptable, it's got to be customizable, and it's got to have artificial intelligence at the heart in the factory set. And the factory settings would just be the enlargement and maybe the double-sided copying and other basic important office features. And all the rest of the features you can buy as apps, like in Apple Store, like iTunes or Google Play if we're talking Android. And I think in Google, I think Apple Play, or whatever, folks. I don't think, yeah, I think Google Play is not just it's not just, sorry, it's hard to concentrate doing this multitasking. But basically, yeah, I think Google does apply to your desktop as well as your Android phone. I don't know, I haven't thought about it, folks. Google, because Google's on your desktop, so obviously I think it still applies to your desktop, just like iTunes would apply to an iMac. So yeah, we've got to make software that really makes the jobs easier and more fun, and you can get functions that are fun, you know, like special effects and all that. And also there's another device that they used to have mostly in the 90s called an editing board, which had like a flat thing on top of your lid, and it had like a stylus pen, and you could do some basic fucking editing. And I want to bring that back. That was a lot of fun. I hated it when they gradually phased that out. So there's a lot of things I want to do to improve the functionality of a photocopier, and also help the environment and help mankind and help the sick and the needy and the poor, to make the world a better place and to make the workplace better and more exciting and not a slave sweatshop. And that's come up looking quite a treat. I think we can now call this demo quits.